When a movie starts, we see a spaceship from Europe that had taken off from Earth. Jupiter is far away from Earth, and it will take about 2 years for the spaceship to reach there. There were 6 astronauts on this spaceship, 2 pilots, William and Rosa, and 2 engineers, James and Andre. Daniel and Dr. Cart were biologists. Their mission was to go to Europa, collect samples, and bring them back to Earth. This may sound easy to understand, but it is actually very difficult. Recently, NASA scientists noticed some activity on Europa. They think that the central part of Europa is getting warm, which is causing the ice to melt. And if this is true, it means that there is water there, lots of water, and life could be possible in that water. In the future, Europa might become our new home. The surface of Europa is several thousand meters thick, and it will take many thousands of years for all the ice to melt. Also, Europa is far away from the sun. Unlike our Earth, it is a very cold place. NASA and space agencies from all over the world are preparing for this mission. They choose the best people and are working on launching the most advanced spaceship because humans have never gone this far before. It would take 2 years to reach Europa and the same amount of time to come back. That means a total of 4 years. The technology for deep sleep has not been invented yet, so they will have to spend this long journey without sleeping. Europe's spacecraft was designed with artificial gravity for humans because zero gravity has a bad effect on our bodies. So at least these people will come back safely to Earth. That's the hope. Then the rocket successfully launched. It gets attached to Europe and starts its journey towards Jupiter. The whole world was watching this mission. Everyone was very happy because humans were progressing. James often recorded videos for his children on the early days of this mission, which went well. The Europe spacecraft was working properly. It was in contact with Earth. But as time went by, 6 months later, there was an accident. Because of this accident, the contact was lost. This is a story about a journey in space that lasts for 6 months. It is very difficult for all the people to stay in the spaceship for such a long time. They were tired and their minds were exhausted. Even though they had planned for these tough conditions, they were still human after all. James missed his children and wife a lot. He would make videos for them all the time. But when the communication was lost, it became very difficult for everyone because no one knew if they were alive or not. Space is a mystery. Anyway, they all decided to have a meeting because they couldn't complete this mission without guidance, and there was still plenty of time. The purpose of this mission was to send data back to Earth. Actually, the communication system was damaged because of a solar flare, and James and Andre had to go outside to repair it. Everyone agreed that it was necessary to fix it. James and Andre put on their spacesuits and went outside. But when they tried to open that section, there was a mistake, and Andre's suit started leaking. There was a man named James who saved someone's life. Both of them received orders to come back to the spaceship. As they got closer to the airlock, Andre noticed that James had a dangerous chemical on his suit. This chemical could harm people in the spaceship. The problem was that if Andre came inside the airlock with James, the chemical would spread throughout the whole spaceship, and it would be very bad for everyone. In simple words, it would hurt them. There was no option to terminate James. Now the captain had to make a decision. He told Andre to come inside quickly and that James couldn't come. James felt sad because his suit couldn't be cleaned quickly, and he only had 20 minutes of oxygen left. Andre couldn't let him die, but even his suit was leaking oxygen, so he passed out. The decision was in James's hands. Either everyone would die because of him, or he would sacrifice himself to save everyone and push Andre into the airlock. With that, he started going away from the spaceship. He was scared and sad because he knew he was going to die. No one could do anything. In his final moments, he told the crew to tell Andre that he tried to save him. He respected him. He also told them to tell his wife and children that he loved them very much. He couldn't see anything except darkness. The rest of the crew saw him die. They were also very sad, but they couldn't do anything. Suddenly, James disappeared into the depths of outer space, and his breath stopped. Andre regained consciousness and screamed because he lost his friend and couldn't do anything to save him. It felt like no one could save him. After James died, the crew became very sad. Everything changed. They couldn't communicate properly, and they couldn't abandon their mission. So, they all decided to keep moving forward. No one on Earth knew if these people were alive or not. And so, 8 months went by. Andre was the most affected by James's death. The captain didn't want to lose his only engineer. Everyone else had recovered from their sadness, but not Andre. The captain was worried about him, because if anything went wrong with the ship, Andre was the only person who could fix it. And then, he lost his senses. The story continues, and these people plan a 12-month journey. Everything was fine until one crew member died. After 19 months and 14 days, their ship reached Jupiter's orbit. It was only 1 month away from reaching Europa. Friends, it may seem like all of this was very easy. If anything electronic goes near Jupiter, it won't work properly because Jupiter has a very strong magnetic field. Captain wanted to leave Andre on the ship and take the module to explore Europa's surface. But Daniel said, "We can't leave it because something might go wrong down there, and we need to come back with samples. Otherwise, the mission will be a waste." After 1 year and 9 months, they were finally ready to land on Europa. They hadn't been in contact with NASA for the past 1 year and 3 months. They don't know what's happening here on Earth, and people think they're dead. But still, they don't stop their mission. They all sit in the modules and land on Europa's surface. The movie represented Europa well, like it should have been. NASA targeted a special place on Europa because the ice there was thin, and they detected some movement. They believed that there might be life in the water, maybe even fish. The landing was successful, and everyone was happy that they were so close to their goal. But because of a technical issue, they ended up far away from their destination and couldn't go there. It means that where they were, the ice was not thin, and they had to go somewhere else. Anyway, they had to decide what to do next. There was no way forward. After that, someone who was supposed to start drilling here started it. This was not just ordinary ice. It was very thick, several thousand meters thick. The next task was Daniel's. Then they start drilling. They spend 15 hours on Europa. Now, ever since these people entered Jupiter's orbit, their system has been having some problems, especially when their module was on Europa's surface. So these people were feeling a little shaken. At that time, Andre was doing some repairs. Daniel believed that the tectonic plates were moving, or they could be bored. These people were not paying attention to it. But Andre noticed something outside the module. We can't see it, but Andre was surprised and quickly took a camera to record it. But he was unsuccessful in capturing the footage. Then he tries to explain to his companions that he saw something outside. He saw a light that was shaking. It was difficult to believe that there could be alien life here, but Andre thought that there could be cellular life here. After that, Andre was always awake and alert outside. The rest of the people thought that he might be mistaken about such things. It takes them a day to reach Europa, and the drilling was more than 3,000 meters, but they had not reached the water yet. After a few hours, Daniel called everyone because he had reached the water. They started watching through a camera. They couldn't see any signs of life, meaning nothing big. But that was okay, because they were exploring life at a micro level. Then they noticed that the bright light was hitting the drilling and damaging it, and they couldn't understand why. The problem was that they couldn't bring the sample back anymore. They could go back, but without the sample. Dr. Cardia decided that she came here only for this reason. She put on a suit and went outside to take the sample. She was allowed to do so because she volunteered. Wearing the suit, she went outside the airlock. Slowly, she reached the location where Bharat was thin. She was successful in taking the sample. As she was being examined, they were all happy that they were not wrong. Now they had the sample they needed to go back to Earth. But Dr. Kardia saw a light under the snow, and that light was attracting the electricity. She turned off the lights of her suit so that she could see it clearly, but then she slipped and disappeared. They couldn't find the sample, only the data, which NASA couldn't convince people with. And there was something here that no one had thought about. We all decided that we should leave from here because everyone was in danger of dying, and we couldn't stay here for a long time. They were ready for takeoff, but due to a problem, the transistors were not working, and they crashed back onto Europe. The captain died in the accident. Everyone else was in shock. The module was in bad condition. It was difficult to repair it. This mission was already finished. When these people regained their consciousness and assessed the condition of the ship, Daniel told Roja and Andre that he could fix it. They have some energy left for one final takeoff, but they have to go outside the ship to do it. Andre and Daniel are going outside. But as soon as they exit the airlock, Daniel disappears too. Andre repairs the memorial, but he also gets hurt. Later, when Roja wants to take off, water starts increasing inside the ship. Suddenly, a strange creature with glowing lights attacks it. This was the last footage recorded in the Europa mission. Months later, NASA receives all this data. People around the world were surprised about what happened to those people because it is difficult to understand that Europa has different life forms than us. They live on electricity, radiation, light, and we don't know what else. It's a whole different world. Humans are not ready for it yet because their technology is very advanced. Then NASA tells a story that they tried something with the crew on Europa, but going back there was not possible. It would take many years. This is the story of the film. Friends, if you like space travel, this film gives a good feeling because the story is quite realistic. Besides, this series is about Europa, where there might be life and water. If you liked our video, please like it.